Following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers and friends. This is the TFfangeek wishing you guys all a very Merry Christmas. It's still Christmas Day where I live in California when I'm recording this video. I apologize. You probably won't watch it until the day after Christmas. But I was busy celebrating Christmas Day with my family all day long, which is why I couldn't record the video until after they went to bed. But really fast, I wanted to show you guys some Transformers action figures that I technically didn't get these for Christmas presents. They're just some Transformers figures that I purchased throughout the month of December for 2025. I doubt I'll collect any more Transformers action figures for the remainder of the year 2025. But I just wanted to share with you guys some Transformers figures that I was able to get a hold of. So first off, courtesy of my local Target store, or a few weeks ago when I was Christmas shopping, I went to stop by the Transformers section, and the only Transformers figure they had at my local Target store that I hadn't already gotten for my Transformers collection was this, the Sonic the Hedgehog crossover 2-pack of Wingtail and Blue Booster, which are basically the characters of Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails, reimagined as Transformers characters, and for what they are, being characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog video game franchise as Transformers action figures, they are pretty neat looking little Transformers action figures. And it's done to, I believe, commemorate, what anniversary is it? It doesn't quite specify which anniversary it's supposed to be on the collaborative logo, but yeah, there's a image of Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails there next to the Autobot symbol for the crossover set. I was originally going to pass on these guys when I first saw them, but then after watching some reviews of people who decided to get them, I figured, why not get them and add them to my Transformers collection. So yeah, there's Sonic and Tails, and their alt mode. Sonic transforms into a sports car that kind of reminds me of the, even though it's a different video game franchise completely from a different company, kind of reminds me of the Mario go-kart cars. And what drew me to this set actually was Tails' alt mode of a biplane. I believe this might only be the second Transformers action figure to have a World War I style Earth-based biplane for an alt mode. But yeah, there they are. But yeah, it's a neat little box set of Transformers action figures. This 2-pack is currently retailing at Target for $50. So Sonic and Tails, Wingtail and Blue Booster, they're both retailing for $25 each, which unfortunately, starting next year in 2026 with the new price jump from Hasbro, with Deluxe Class Transformers action figures now finally retailing for, I have to facepalm this, $30. $50 for a 2-pack of 2 deluxe figures is actually better than what these guys would go for if they were released individually next year in 2026. So yeah, I have to facepalm Hasbro for raising the price of Transformers action figures again. And they were on sale for a while at Target. I believe they were $10 off and going for $40, so you can find them on sale. Recommend picking up that 2-pack, but if not, then they are an easy pass. Next up, courtesy of Walmart, what is currently the most recent Walmart exclusive Transformers action figure that I had yet to add to my Transformers collection. I got it off of Walmart.com when I purchased some Christmas presents for my family, so I kind of snuck it in past them. But here is the Transformers Retro Series Brawn. So yeah, with Brawn, I now have all 4 of the Transformers action figures from the Retro Series that have been released so far. The others that were released before Brawn were Gears, Bumblebee, and Sea Spray, who I all added earlier this year. Brawn was the last one. I was a little hesitant on getting Brawn just because, compared to his Studio Series 86 action figure, at least with Gears, they not only gave him the toy-accurate head sculpt that had the visor and mouth plate, but for Gears he was different. He was a much different shade of blue than his Legacy United action figure. Sea Spray, of course, is an entirely brand new mold. A lot of fans and collectors are wondering if Sea Spray will get repainted and retooled into his into a color scheme based off of his Generation 1 animation model, because the gimmick with the retro line is that the Transformers action figures in this line, they have head sculpts based on their original action figures and paint jobs based off of the original action figures, while the ones released at mass retail in the Generations, Legacy / Age of the Prime / Studio Series lines, they're based off of their animation models from the G1 cartoon by Sunbow Productions. So a lot of fans and collectors are hopeful that Sea Spray will have the opposite experience, and following the release of his retro figure, we'll have a G1 cartoon version of Sea Spray that will be released at mass retail. I don't think there's been a listing for Sea Spray in any of the leaked listing databases for the Transformers action figures that are coming out next year in 2026, but it's still wishful thinking that Sea Spray won't be a Walmart exclusive and that he'll be released at mass retail someday soon. But yeah, for Braun, I wasn't as motivated to get him as I was compared to Sea Spray and the others. I almost passed on Bumblebee entirely, just because for Bumblebee, Hasbro didn't give him the head sculpt from his Generation 1 action figure, which, just like Gears and Brawn, had a visor and a mouth plate instead of eyes and a mouth and an actual dedicated face. Retro Bumblebee was a straight up repaint of Netflix Bumblebee from 2020. But what motivated me to get Bumblebee, which is the same motivation I got for Brawn, is that they were both going on clearance. I got Bumblebee off of Amazon for $20 about 1.5 months ago in October, and right now I believe it's still going on at Walmart's website, walmart.com. Brawn is on sale for just $15 right now, and when I saw that, I figured, you know what, this might be the last chance I get to buy a deluxe class Transformers action figure, mint condition in an unopened box for just $15. So yeah, if you can find Brawn on Walmart's clearance, if you can get Brawn with Walmart's clearance price right now of $15 instead of $25, then yeah, that I believe makes him a must-have Transformers action figure for that discount price. But if you get him at retail price or more, then I do recommend passing on Brawn. The clearance price is was the sole reason that motivated me to get him. Next up, we have the Transformers action figures that I purchased from Amazon. And first up, the two figures that I was the most excited for, and they're ones that have been a lot of Transformers fans and collectors have been eager to get and add to their collections this year. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog, these are collaborative crossover Transformers action figures, and they are the two Transformers Hot Wheels action figures of Bone Shaker and Twin Mill. So yeah, for the first time ever, Hasbro was able to make a deal with Mattel, and they took two of Mattel's Hot Wheels cars and made them Transformers action figures and characters. I'm glad that they, instead of trying to come up with new names, they just gave them the names of the Hot Wheels cars that they transformed into. So, for those of you who strictly collect Hot Wheels cars, but you aren't into Transformers action figures, looking at these from a purely Hot Wheels perspective, if anyone out there has ever wondered what it would be like if the Hot Wheels cars were alive and they could not only drive themselves, but they could transform into living robots and be able to walk and act like human beings, then these collaborative action figures of Bone Shaker and Twin Mill can give Hot Wheels collectors an idea of what it would be like to have if the Hot Wheels cars were alive. Ivan could actually talk and walk if they had the ability to transform themselves into robots. For those of you who don't necessarily collect Hot Wheels cars and you're strictly a Transformers fan, if you ever wondered what it would be like if any of the Mattel's Hot Wheels cars were to become Transformers characters and action figures, then that's what Twin Mill and Bone Shaker are from a purely Transformers collector's perspective. But yeah, they're both pretty neat Transformers action figures. There was some speculation when they were first revealed if they were going to be the same size as regular Hot Wheels cars. They are not. I can say that with 100% honesty because I do collect Hot Wheels cars just like I collect Transformers. Twin Mill and Bone Shaker, they're both slightly small, all-sized deluxe class Transformers action figures. They are slightly larger than some of... I think they're the same size as the mini-bike figures, such as the Retro Brawn figure that I just showed off a moment ago. So yeah, they are not the same size as Hot Wheels cars. They're, I believe, 2.5, maybe 3 times larger than Hot Wheels cars are. One of the reasons why they decided to make Twin Mill one of the first has Hot Wheels Transformers collaborative figures is because Twin Mill, for those of you who don't collect Hot Wheels cars but you collect Transformers, Twin Mill was the first ever Hot Wheels car that had no inspiration or any design cues whatsoever from any existing maker model of sports car. It's the first ever Hot Wheels car that is an original design entirely created by Mattel with absolutely no references or inspiration from any real life makes or models of existing models of sports cars. So that's one of the reasons why Hasbro and Mattel agreed to let Twin Mill become one of the first Hot Wheels cars to become a Transformers character. For Bone Shaker, I don't know why they made Bone Shaker the second one besides Twin Mill. My guess is that it was solely for the monster aesthetic, with Twin Mill having a skull for his front grille section. Actually, and the fact that he's, as his name implies, he's supposed to be a Halloween-style sports car, so they probably just did that for the Halloween monster motif that he has going for him. And from what I can tell by the faction symbols here on the front of the box, Twin Mill and Bone Shaker are both Autobots. I've seen a handful of Transformers fans and collectors who don't necessarily collect Hot Wheels cars wondering if, because of his Halloween motif, if Bone Shaker is actually supposed to be a Decepticon and be a rival with Twin Mill. He is not. He is a heroic Autobot, just like Twin Mill. But it is an easy mistake to think that Bone Shaker would be a Decepticon when he's in fact supposed to be a heroic Autobot due to, again, the Halloween motif where he has a skull all for the front grille of his vehicle mode, which ends up being the chest of his robot mode, and of course his mostly black paint job with the yellow flame deco on his hood and on the side doors of him. So, for me, looking at Bone Shaker, he's basically what it would look like if an Autobot had a goth attitude about them. I don't know if there's any existing Transformers characters that do act like that, where they're a heroic Autobot, but they're into being scary and frightening. The best comparison that I can think of off the top of my head is basically Bone Shaker. He's basically Grimlock and the Dinobots if they had full intelligence and like to act spooky when confronting Decepticons. And there isn't, and from that perspective, because Bone Shaker has the Halloween motif for him and Twin Mill's just an average sports car, one could make an argument Bone Shaker is the slightly more interesting of these two guys, but as I said before, Twin Mill is special because he's the first ever Hot Wheels car that's an original design, and that's one of the reasons why he was one of the first Hot Wheels cars to be made into a real, to have an actual life-sized model of him built with permission from the Mattel company. So, yeah, they're both pretty incredible, and it even shows on the box for those wondering about the size of Hot Wheels. They're both 5 inches tall, so I said they're slightly on the small side when it comes to deluxe class Transformers, but in vehicle modes, 5 inches is the typical size for deluxe class Transformers these days, so I take it back. They are average sized deluxe class Transformers action figures. But yeah, they're both. I'm glad I was able to get a hold of both of them. And when they came out, Bone Shaker and Twin Mill, I did find them at my local Target store the same day that I got Sonic the Hedgehog, so a lot of the collaborative Transformers action figures are on the shelves of Target stores right now during the final days of the year 2025. So for those who haven't got these action figures yet, I do highly recommend getting both of the Hot Wheels Transformers collaborative action figures. You can't go wrong having Twin Mill and Bone Shaker in your collections. Last but definitely by no means least, another figure I got off of Amazon. This one might be the most surprising to you guys because it's one that's not necessarily out there on the shelves of brick and mortar stores right now. Now, it's not a mass retail figure. I haven't been able to get a hold of any of the most recent wave of the Transformers Age of the Prime or Studio Series action figures yet, partially because the ones that are available for purchase right now on Amazon I haven't been able to get a hold of because of all the money I spent Christmas shopping for my family. So, and the other half aren't being released until next month in January of 2026, so I'll probably have to wait until next month before I find I'm able to get a hold of the most recent wave of Transformers Age of the Primes and the Studio Series figures. But the final figure I have is basically a third-party Transformers action figure, and it is this guy. The official name of this action figure is Deformation Toys BPF F Fight Again Overlord. And this action figure is basically an oversized knockoff of the Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy Siege 2019 Megatron action figure. So this oversized knockoff is Siege Megatron upscaled to the size of a leader class Transformer. So for those of you ever wondering what it would be like had the Siege Megatron figure been a leader class sized action figure, then this third party oversized knockoff of Deformation Toys BPF Overlord gives you an idea of what it would be like to have Siege Megatron done as a leader class figure. And yeah, I do not regret getting this figure. It's available for purchase right now on Amazon for just $40, and I figured for how tall of a figure it is, being the size of a leader class figure for just $40, yeah, that's worth the price. I do have some spare Decepticon stickers lying around somewhere, so I may pull them out and put one on his chest just to give him a Decepticon logo. But even without the Decepticon logo on the chest, you can obviously tell from a distance that this is, by all accounts, Megatron. And one thing to note is because this is an oversized knockoff, it's not a straight-up repaint of the Siege Megatron mold, which is what a vast majority of Megatron figures since the Siege Megatron mold was released in 2019 have been. This action figure has one additional step in the transformation, and it basically has an extra joint that Siege Megatron doesn't have, and that's pivot / rotation joints in the ankles. And so when you transform him into tank mode, the photograph doesn't actually show it, but you can actually rotate Megatron's feet and then turn them inward and fill in the gap on the back of his tank mode, and so the robot mode feet just aren't dangling off the back of the tank like they do with the official Hasbro released Siege Megatron action figure. So when I get around to reviewing this figure, I'll do a comparison of him with the official Voyager class Siege Megatron figure, and I'll show that extra step in the foot transformation, because it does make it a much more coherent tank, and visually, not having the robot mode feet just hanging off the back of the tank treads, it makes it look a lot better. And so those factors of the extra foot transformation, how tall the figure is, and the decent price that he was going for on Amazon, all those factors made me decide to get this figure and add it to my Transformers collection. Actually, I don't know what Optimus Prime action figure I'll have him standing against. I've said this a couple of times on my channel this past year, but most of the Megatron and Optimus Prime action figures that I've added to my Transformers collection, recently I've grown to not really want to have a standalone Optimus Prime or standalone Megatron action figures. I love to have Optimus Prime and Megatron figures standing opposite of each other. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's late at night, I'm losing my train of thought, the video's gone on much longer than I wanted it to. But this has been my latest haul of Transformers action figures for December, and by all accounts for Christmas as well. So we got Sonic the Hedgehog collaborative figures, we've got the Walmart exclusive Retro Brawn. We've got the Hot Wheels collaborative crossover Transformers figures of Twin Mill and Bone Shaker. And last but definitely by no means least, my most recent third-party Transformers figure, the Deformation Toys BPF Overlord Fight Again, an oversized Siege Megatron knockoff figure. So, thank you guys all so much, and once again, this is a very Merry Christmas from the TFfangeek. By the time I upload this video on my channel, there'll only be a few minutes left before December 25th of the year 2025. Basically Christmas Day will be over, so I apologize for not getting this out on Christmas Day, but hopefully you guys will be able to enjoy it tomorrow, the day after Christmas, and until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you once again to all my friends and subscribers for your continued support. This has been the TFfangeek, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.